The given RC passage talks about how the importance of religion, the importance of the first paragraph begins by stating that the society tries to discipline every citizen and asks a very potent question, that is discipline necessary at all? Then it gives an example of an athlete. It says that whenever a keen athlete disciplines himself naturally, nobody asks him to discipline himself. So clearly from this we can infer that if a person likes something, is keen upon doing something, then discipline is an in discipline gets imposed. He imposes discipline on himself willingly, and it is a natural outcome of his enjoyment of athletics, and nobody imposes that discipline on the person, right? So clearly from the very first paragraph we have got to understand, we have got to know about the uh, author's stance that discipline is not really necessary with the help of, because of this example that he gives. Right, now in the second question, in the second paragraph, he says, does discipline increase or decrease human energy? Now the author's stand is, many human beings do not have a great deal of energy. What happens to them as a consequence of discipline? What little energy they have is soon smothered and destroyed by the controls, threats and taboos of their particular society. So discipline smothers and destroys their energy, right? And what happens to people who have a little more energy to begin with is given, the answer to this question is given in the next paragraph. It says discipline curtails that, and that when you are young you are full of energy, and you're disciplined, and that discipline curtails that energy that you have by shaping it and directing it into various molds. And then when you grow up, then that little energy that you have that was shaped when you were young, that is curtailed, and you have left, is soon smothered by society, which says that you must become proper citizens, and as a consequence of which uh, your energy is gradually destroyed. So in any case, whether you are a person born with little energy or a little more energy than required, the final consequence of discipline or curtailment of your energy will be destruction of your energy. Then the author goes on to discuss what energy is. What is this energy that we all have? Energy is thinking, feeling, it is interest, enthusiasm. In other words, all the activities that we perform and all the feelings that we have in us, they are they're all expressions of human energy. So he says the very finest and the most destructive qualities are equally the expressions of human energy. But you see, the processes of controlling and what does discipline do to that energy is discussed here. That disciplining this energy and letting it out in one direction and restricting it in another becomes merely a social convenience. So discipline is merely a social convenience. The mind is shaped according to the pattern of a particular culture, and thereby its energy is gradually dissipated. So this energy that we had earlier is gradually dissipated as a consequence of discipline. Then in the next paragraph, the author asks a question, a very valid question again. Is it important to control this immense amount of energy that we have? He says that to seek reality requires immense energy, and if man is not doing that, he dissipates his energy in ways which creates mischief, and therefore society has to control him. So that means controlling this immense energy is a necessity. He says, you see, man is energy, and if man does not seek truth, this energy becomes destructive. So in order to prevent energy from becoming destructive, what does society do? Society controls and shapes the individual, which smothers this energy. So in the name of controlling the energy, society smothers it. That is what has happened to the majority of grown-up people all over the world. They have all been smothered by the society. But as the author discussed in the very first paragraph, that if you really want to do something, if you're a keen athlete, you will be able to discipline yourself on your own. Right? You don't require society or any other third person to control you. So this is what he reiterates in the last paragraph also. Perhaps you've noticed another important and very simple fact, that the moment you really want to do something, you have the energy to do it, what happens when you're keen to play a game, you immediately have the energy, do you not? And that very energy becomes a means of controlling itself. So you don't need outside discipline. That means outside discipline is not required if you really want to do something. In the search for reality, energy creates its own discipline. The man who is seeking reality spontaneously becomes the right kind of citizen, which is not according to the pattern of any particular society or government. Now let's look at the given questions. The athlete's example proves that when discipline is inborn, we enjoy it. We do not know if the discipline, first of all, the discipline that athlete, now in the athlete's case, his discipline is inborn, but we do not know whether he enjoys disciplining himself or not. He does it for his own sake because he's keen on becoming a good athlete, but we cannot infer from that that he enjoys disciplining himself. Therefore option A can be eliminated. B says games generate discipline naturally. Now the passage only talks about uh, athlete, only gives an example of the athlete. We cannot generalize this by talking about all the games. Therefore option B can also be eliminated. C says when one really enjoys doing something, discipline will follow as a natural outcome. Clearly this is what the passage also states by giving the example of the athlete. The athlete disciplines himself because he enjoys being a good, being whatever he is, a good athlete. He wants to become a good athlete. He's a keen athlete, right? So therefore option C is the answer. D says athletes do not need the imposition of discipline, they are naturally disciplined. And naturally disciplined means they are disciplined by birth. That's not the truth. They do not need the imposition of discipline, they require the imposition of discipline on their, they require an imposition of discipline not from outside but from inside. So clearly this also is incorrect. They do not need the imposition of discipline. Therefore option D can be eliminated. They need an imposition of discipline from themselves. Therefore the answer to this question is option C. Now the next question says, as per the passage, the general effect of education is option A, an organized society. The passage talks about discipline being for social convenience, but whether it organizes the society or not, that's not said. So therefore option A can be eliminated. C says resistance and suppression. Discipline does resist and suppress the energy of individual, but is it the general effect? Out of B and C, B says destruction of energy. Now destruction of energy is the final outcome of education. Education destructs energy. This is the correct answer. It resists and suppresses the energy of people who have who are born with more energy, and it destroys the energy of people who are born with a little less energy than otherwise. So in the former case also, that suppression and that resistance and suppression that happens due to education also in the course of time becomes or transforms into destruction of energy completely. So therefore the answer is option B. Look at this paragraph. It says this is the fourth paragraph. It says when you're very young, you're full of energy, and then what happens as you grow up, your teachers begin to curtail that energy by shaping it, directing it into various molds, and when at last you become men and women, the little energy you have left is soon smothered by society. So through so-called education and compulsion of society, what happens? This abounding energy you have when you are young is gradually destroyed. So this is the final outcome or the general effect of education. Now the next question says, the author believes that controlling discipline is merely a social gimmick. No, it's not a social gimmick, it really happens. So therefore option A can be eliminated. Option B says merely a social convenience at the cost of human potential. Yes, disciplining people, controlling people is for social convenience. The passage mentions it here in this line. It says that discipline is for direction, is for giving the energy, people's, the citizens energy a direction, and restricting it in another becomes merely a social convenience. This mind is shaped according to the pattern of a particular culture, right? And it is at the cost of human potential, as the passage throughout talks about destruction of human energy because of discipline. Therefore option B is the correct answer. C says a necessary evil. No, the author is completely against disciplining. D says completely undesirable. It is desirable by the society. It is desirable by the general masses. So therefore option D can also be eliminated. So the correct answer here is option B. Now the next question says energy is, according to the author, greed, lust, enthusiasm, all the above. The answer is all the above, reference to which is given in this paragraph. It says that what is energy? This energy is thinking, feeling, it is interest, enthusiasm, greed, passion, lust, etc., etc. So all these feelings are energy. All these feelings are expressions of energy. All these actions are again expressions of human energy. So therefore the answer is all the above. That is option D.